Aaron, thanks for joining us.
Morning, everybody. Good to have you all this morning. So Tones and I are hosting the pre-service, and just a reminder for those who are jumping on, this is kind of like us trying to do our best to create a foyer experience where we can just hang out, connect. Unfortunately, you can only see our faces, but I do want to say this, that if you would like to see a whole bunch of the other people in our church's faces, every single morning at 8:30 we have a volunteers meeting, and you don't have to have been a previous volunteer to be at those meetings now. So if you want to see familiar faces and just join on, we pray for the service, then you can send an email through. I think that's the best. Maybe send an email through even to me, colin@openskies.co.za, or you can send it through, just send it through to that email and I'll pop you onto a volunteer team. So hello Nix, hello Suzanne, good to see
Kiki.
you. Hey Kiki, we've been praying for you. I know that you had an eye operation that I believe went well, so we're continuing to pray for you over this time. Often
We should have actually got a bit of a skill going. I know Hilton always does the coffee. We
well
have
you'll see there actually is a skill that I learned this week. Our youth department ministry asked us, it's going to be part of the service. They asked us to have a bake-off between Hilton and I. So I won't tell you who won, but I do think that it was unfair judging, but we'll just leave it at that.
And I'll just say it was called, in some of the reposts, it was called #diarrhea cake. So I don't know if it was if it was a good compliment for it or not. So I don't think we should show that on a Sunday morning.
Well, we'll see. Anyways, morning everybody. Hello Eden. Hello Kirst. You would have seen Friday night's shambles of a bake-off. So
Got Nicholas on my team.
hello Nicole. How's your little one doing? Hey, there's Hilton Greg.
Hilton.
Hello Mr. Greg. Hope you are doing well. Hello Sandy Thomas. So we are in week 2 of our series, Another in the Fire. If you missed last week, you should go and grab it. It was really good, from Hilt around resilience. And this week we are looking at It's Not a Drill. I won't give away too much of what is going to go on in the service, but it's going to be a great service. I'm trying to think what else is happening in the service. Obviously, we have our worship and our announcements. I think there's going to be some highlights around some of the bake-off, which will be fun. What's Rory saying? I think it was high quality confectionery. Some people don't understand art, Cole. Rory.
Also, Rory, I don't know if any of your filming skills will be shown in that video, in that highlight video, because I saw you with the camera going crazy around those cakes. So well done. Online testimonies, is that happening this week?
Thank you, Rich, for helping us. So basically, it'll be really fun, actually. We got a whole bunch of people over the next 2 weeks, actually, that have been sharing kind of back to us as a church, saying thank you so much for having online church, because we've been able to catch it. We used to be part of your church, now we live on a different side of the world, and we can still jump on the different live streams. So that's going to be really awesome and really fun for a lot of us to see familiar faces. I got quite teary, actually, listening to a couple of them this week, going like, man, we love you, and we're so sad that you had to move to a different part of South Africa or the world. So
and there also we done the Fuse Games Night, or Church Games Night.
Hey, tell us about the Games Night. If you were, I think there were 60
really
plus
cool.
people. We loved it. I actually saw Wally, again, big shout out to Wally for just helping us do that. And I saw Wally the next morning, and he said,
I think winner will be announced today.
The winner will be announced today. Yeah. So we won't tell you who the winner is. It's us. It's not us. We flopped a lot of things.
We'll pretend. You can all cheer for us here, and then actually the real winner will be announced in the service.
I don't know if this happened to any of you guys, but obviously when you're not 100%, so if you're 100% sure on the quiz, then you're like, okay, it's this. But if you we think, and so like Tony and I would choose a different example, or a different answer, and then you would click the answer, I'd choose Tony's and it was wrong, and then I'd be like, you see, I told you.
It's all my fault, but actually he had no better option.
I had the right option. Anyways, Deacon Fuse for the win.
Yeah, Colin didn't know who wrote The Mockingbird, and it's not a book I studied in at school, so it's not
I
good.
actually studied it in matric, but
So Colin should have known.
I was like, is it Charles Dickens?
Shakespeare, you even said.
I said Shakespeare. I was like, I think I only know 3 authors. So anyways.
Hello, Debbie, all the way from Switzerland.
So, hey, tell us a little bit about your favorite question in the games night if you're a part of it. I think we're missing a whole bunch of comments here. But, yeah, tell us your favorite moment. Did you... I hope, because Rich is part of our... He runs our media department, but he sent me one of the most disturbing videos. Disturbing is the wrong word, but humorously disturbing.
He sent the one of the One Giant Leap for Mankind, and the dancing one also.
The dancing, no, that's what I'm actually talking about.
Okay.
The one on the bog was disturbing, but his dancing was more disturbing. So I hope, Rich, that's made it into the media cut for today. If not, that is very biased of you, and I'm going to take over the media department.
So I'm sure everybody had fun doing the pastor's impersonation. So or the singing.
Check Lisa saying Alan doing Lauren's impersonation. Oh, Lisa, please send that to us. That is.
I'd love to see that.
It's desperately necessary.
We basically got Emma to do all the videos for us, so we didn't have to do them.
Well,
she didn't want to do them by herself, so then we had to do them
me
together.
and her did all the single ladies together, which was again very disturbing. So
Lauren chose the highlights.
Oh, Lauren, if you didn't put Rich's one in, I'll be very upset. Thank you, Lisa, for sending that through. So hey, for those who are jumping on and we're talking a whole bunch of nonsense, we are talking about our games night that happened midweek. It was really fun. We ran it. Some of it was through the home groups, but it was open to anybody in our church. And we actually felt like really strongly as a leadership team that just to have some fun, man, because the season is so intense and everybody's got their opinions and ideas and thoughts and everybody wants to jump on and say something on Facebook, but we just thought man, let's just have some fun. So it was loads of fun. And then again, for anybody who's jumping on now, what we're trying to do is create a bit of a foyer experience, something that would happen pre-service. Unfortunately, you only get to see our faces. Game changer would be for all of us to see everybody's faces. We're going to fill you in a little bit in the service. I won't do it now, about some of the decisions that we've made around church and gatherings. So I'll leave that to Hilt to do, but we're going to make an announcement about that. What else?
Who's preaching today?
I'm preaching.
Best preach ahead, so I hope you guys are ready.
It's very kind of you. You didn't say that when we weren't on camera. Joking. She was very kind. She even reposted on Instagram, and she never goes on Instagram. So
just for you, I did that.
Anyways, morning everyone. Hello, Mish Kemp. Good to see you. Hello, La. Oh, you did. I see you saying you did put Rich's one forward. I hope so.
That would be funny.
Annie's saying, why haven't I seen those? Hello, Dave Zondi. Good to see you.
Yeah. Some people were really funny. They sent this video how they did you and how they did Colin, and it was really, really funny.
It was way off.
They're just shouting. Jonah did one where he's just shouting at the camera.
So for those who haven't watched, our youth have been doing some incredible work on a Friday night now. Really funny, really engaging. So if you have teenagers, or let me just say this to anybody who's listening, if you don't have teenagers but you know somebody who does, an incredible opportunity to be able to get them to connect to church without them having to go to the building. Teenagers are they're terrified of going and then feeling rejected, so that they don't go to youth ministry. But you should jump onto these FNL nights. They're brilliant. They are hilarious. They're really funny, which is great. And honestly, some of it, I've got to be honest, I don't really understand. I think that's because I'm getting old. But nevertheless, they are humorous and funny. And then there's a great word and great worship. So I'd really encourage you guys to do that.
It's been amazing.
All right, well, we got 5 minutes until the service. Thanks for joining us here this morning. It's going to be a great service. I hope that your hearts are full of faith. If we were sitting in a church building, a worship leader or somebody would be standing up in front of the service or in the front end of the service saying, hey, come on, man, God's going to move here. Our hearts need to be full of faith. So even if you need to, jump off 2 minutes early from this and just take a moment just to still your heart and say God wants to do in this time. So let's really ask God to do whatever He can in this time.
Never waste the season. And how cool Ed is saying that his sister, a friend of hers that never used to come to church, actually watched Friday Night Live. That's very cool. So
it's awesome.
Hopefully more of those stories will come about. It's very cool. Well done.
Yeah, those are the huge testimonies that we're getting. Not only is this message going far and wide, but people are telling us, hey, I used to watch on my own, and now my mom's watching with me, or my family's watching with me, or my brother and sister are watching with me, or I sent it to my brother and sister and they watched it. So, yeah, amazing, man.
Yeah, it's an easy invite.
Hello, Taryn.
Hey, Taryn.
Good to see you this morning. So, yeah, okay, we got 3 minutes pre-church or for church to start. This feed, as far as I know, should just go straight into the service at 9 o'clock. So if you're on YouTube already, not if you're on, even if you're on Instagram, even if you're on Facebook, I think it just goes straight through.
It's like so technological now. Everything goes from one thing to the next. So
amazing.
So you don't have to change channel. You can just stay right on here.
Stay on. Hello, Jacques. Good to see you this morning. So we had listen, if you missed Open Chapel this week, we had Matt Hooper.
Good.
Matt Hooper has just planted a church a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I think it is. Well, actually, he went to start to plant a church. They were actually meant to fully launch it now in this COVID-19 lockdown. So they've had to kind of put a bit of a pause on that. And hey, I know that you're all on the Kloof channel, so watch this service, but I do want to say that my good friend Graydon Skoltz is going to be preaching at Maritzburg for the very first time today.
That's very cool.
So you want to jump across after the Kloof service and
double dip and watch Kloof and Maritzburg.
Yeah. And then Roger Gregg is preaching at Giba, so you can catch 3 sermons today. So yeah. And maybe just before we end, we'll be chatting about it in the service. So again, I don't want to say too much. But obviously there's been a lot around racial reconciliation. And there's been obviously a lot of kind of opinions and thoughts. I hugely encourage you. Some great voices to go and listen to is T.D. Jakes and Carl Lentz interview. If you want to listen to that, there's a great one with Christine Kane and a psychologist. I actually forget her name off the top of my head, but if you type in Christine Kane interview, you'll find a great interview happening there. It's actually in 3 parts. And then Stephen Furtick was with I'm just trying to think. John Gray, also brilliant. So those are a couple of great, and then obviously Mike Todd does a great one on racial reconciliation. So all great messages to watch in this time, and we really want to encourage you, wherever you stand, to be listening, to be learning, to be engaging. I think to be doing none of those things in this season would be a disaster. As Christians, we have to be learning, empathetic, listening, growing. So Ed's saying Caroline Leaf. I actually haven't seen that, but no, I don't think it was Caroline Leaf with Christine Kane, if that's what you're saying. But if Caroline Leaf does have anything out, it'll be brilliant. Yeah. So yeah, guys, we are 1 minute before the service. We're super excited about what God is going to do. We've tried to I don't even know the length of the service, but we were going closer to 1 hour 20 in the what was the series before that we did?
The Psalms.
The Psalms.
And then some of the young guys told us to cut it short, so no, joking.
No,